This video is going to show you how to import maps into your TEISS project. And that might be the case if you're not happy with the map for your reservation that's defaulting in the TEISS project. Perhaps you have a more updated map with better reservation borders. So there are several different kinds of geographic data that you can import, and that includes AutoCAD, ArcView shapefiles, bitmaps, JPEGs, Mr. SID, TIFF, USGS digital line graphics, and USGS land use land cover file. So to import any of these files, you would click on the import in the menu as shown on this slide, then click on the base maps options, and then click on the file type that you want to import. And the most common type that's imported by tribes is the shapefile. So we're going to show that in these slides. So after that shapefile option is selected, it opens up this window where you can specify where the file is saved on your computer. And this is the browse button or the folder button. And you click on that and you find where the file is on your computer. And you're looking for a shapefile, then you're going to have a file name extension of .shp. So you find that file, which in this case is federal land copy _ project.shp, and you click on the open button. You need to know what coordinate system and data file you are importing is based on. If it's not the same as TEISS, which uses the latitude and longitude coordinate system and NAD83, you will need to use the shapefile coordinate converter by clicking on the convert button as shown here. The next slide shows examples of when you need to use the shapefile coordinate converter, because as you can see right here, the file imported uses the UTM coordinate system, so these are really big numbers and they don't match these latitude and longitude numbers that are shown in TEISS. So if you click on the convert button, you'll get this shapefile coordinate converter window that comes up. And you'll notice on the right side of the box here, it has the default information for the TEISS map, and you don't want to change anything on that side of the screen. On the left side of the screen, you need to input the coordinate system of the shapefile you are importing. And in this example, it's UTM. And these boxes here will change depending on what coordinate system you entered. So after you fix that, you click on the OK button. And now we can see, once that converter did its work, that these numbers here roughly match these numbers here, so we're in good shape. And you can click on the OK button here to finish importing that shapefile into your TEISS project. The next thing I want to do is demonstrate importing a map in the TEISS project we have been working on. I want to import a shapefile that I have that shows more detail in the Grand Canyon area. So what I want to do is select Import from the TEISS menu, then Base Maps, and then Shapefile. And that opens up the screen where I need to specify where the file is on my computer. And if you have a file, make sure you write it where you saved that file that you want to import in your TEISS logbook, and that will help you out a lot. So here's my file, and you notice the extension is .shp, which means it's a shapefile. So I'll click on that and click on the OK button. So I know the coordinates of the shapefile I'm importing is latitude and longitude in NAD83. So I don't need to change anything with the convert button here. So I am complete with this process, so I'm going to click on the OK button. And now you can see on my map that the Grand Canyon area shapefile is imported into my TEISS project. So back to our slides. I want to give you a couple tips on modifying the TEISS map interface. And if you'll notice, there is no undo button like you're used to seeing in most of your Microsoft products. And there is no back button. So when you click on the apply button or the OK button in the pop-up windows, you have already saved the changes to your map. So just be a little bit cautious when you make changes to your map. There is a default button for each layer in the pop-up windows, so if you make a change you don't like, you can go back to the defaults the map had when you opened it. And also, if you make a change and you cannot figure out how to go back, please let me know and I can work with you to fix it. So now we'll go back to our TEISS project, and I'm going to demonstrate how to go backwards and remove all of the changes we made to our TEISS project so you can see how to restore it back to its original look. So the first thing I'm going to do is to remove the label I added, and I'm going to do that by unchecking the box next to the State Counties layer in the Labels tab. So I click on that box, and that label is now removed from the map. Now we're going to go into the Overlays tab and make some changes there. So I'm going to click on Overlays, and the next thing I want to do is I want to remove the Grand Canyon shapefile that I imported. So to do this, I'm going to click on the Grand Canyon shapefile layer in the tree view, and I can do one of two things. If you think you're going to use this shapefile again, you can simply click on the check button to undisplay it, or you can completely remove it, and I'm going to do that method since I don't want this map after all in my TEISS project. So to do that, I click on the delete button that looks like an X here, and it says, do you really want to delete the selected scenes, which means do you really want to delete this map? I'm going to click yes, and now it's removed from my TEISS project. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to show the non-point sources layer again by clicking on this box next to it. And I'm also going to move it back to its original position, which was at the very bottom of the tree. So I'm going to click and drag to move it. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to restore the defaults to the road coverage layers, and I do this by double clicking on one of the small horizontal line symbols next to the road types. So in the screen that opens up, you'll see on the right hand corner there's a default button, and I'm going to click on that default button and then click OK, and now you'll see that the roads are back to how they looked before I started playing with them. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to remove the circle I drew and the text I entered. Alternately, if you think you could use the circle and the text again on the map, you could simply hide them by unchecking the boxes adjacent to them in the tree view. But I'm going to delete them to show you how you can do that. So to delete that layer, I'm going to use the delete tool from the annotation toolbar, and that looks like a pencil with the eraser. So I'll click on that button, and then I want to click anywhere on my annotation circle, and it brings up the objects for deletion, and I'm going to select annotation circles and then click OK, and now that annotation circle is gone from my map. So now I'm going to repeat the process for the point source emissions area text I listed. So I'll click on the erase icon and then click on point source emissions area, and it says annotation text, and that's what I want to delete. So I'll click that checkbox and then click OK. So as you can see in this screen, TEISS is back to its original form in the map view. Back to our slides, we're going to talk about exporting the map from TEISS, so you can use them in your QAPP and your written EI. And we have several options for exporting maps, and we're going to go over 2 of them. So for both options, you want to make sure that you zoom in on the portion of the map that you want to export, because TEISS exports what is shown on your screen. So the first option is to export a simple map without any frills. And to do this, from the TEISS menu, select Export, then Copy to File, and select the file type you want to export. And the one I prefer is JPEG. In the next screen that comes up, you navigate to where you want to save the map and give it a descriptive name. And you also want to make sure you log this in your TEISS notebook so you can find it again if you forget. And in the next screen that comes up, you just want to leave the defaults, and that screen's going to vary depending on what format you chose to export your map in. And when you look at your map, it's not quite what you wanted, you can easily export the map again and change the format and do whatever you want to the map. So next we're going to switch back to TEISS, and I'm going to demonstrate how to export the simple map. The first thing you want to do is you want to make sure you're zoomed in on the portion of the map that you want to include. So just for fun, I'm going to zoom in on this little area right here. And then I am going to select Export from the TEISS menu. Then I'm going to select Copy to File, and I'm going to use JPEG. And this opens up where you're going to specify the file name and where you're going to save that file. And this is where you need to log in your logbook where you saved the file and what you named it. I'm going to call this Map 1. Of course, you want to give it a more descriptive name than that. And then I'm going to click the Save button. And then I'm going to leave these defaults and click OK. And as you can see, this is how the map looks when I open it up. And it shows that it's zoomed in on that portion that was shown on the TEISS screen. Back to our slides, we'll now talk about exporting the map with the more fancy look to it. And in this map you can add a title, you can add comments, you can add a logo, and other things. So to export this map from TEISS, first of course you want to make sure that the part of the map that you want showed is zoomed in on. Then you want to go to the TEISS menu and select File, and then select Print. And in the screen that comes up, you can customize the map. If you click on the Preferences button on this screen, there are even more options to customize the map. And then you click on the Save icon that looks like a little floppy disk to export the map. And next we're going to demonstrate this in our TEISS project. Back in our TEISS project, from the TEISS menu we want to select File, since this is the screen that we want to put into our QAPP and our written EI report. We'll select File, and then we'll select Print. So in this screen we can add titles, and we can add comments, and we could do some other fancy things to the map. So I am going to add a title for this map. So right now this default titles box is checked, and so it's not letting me change the title of the map. So I need to unselect that, and then it opens that up for editing. So I'm going to add a title of my map, and then I'm going to add a comment. I'm just going to say that GPR data in Arizona. So if I click on the Preferences button, there are more options to customize the map. So I'll go ahead and do that. So you'll see that the company name is filled in as ITEP, and the modeler is my coworker, M or me initials. So that is good. So on the left side screen, there are other options that you can do for your map, and that's including like labels and font options and logos. I just wanted to show you that those were available. So now I'm going to click the OK button. That goes back to the print preview screen, and I'm going to use the save icon that looks like a floppy disk to export the map. So the screen opens where you want to specify the location of your map and give it a name, and again put this into your TEISS logbook. And I'm going to call this fancy map, and then click the save button. And now when I open this file up, this is how it looks. You can see that it has a title that I gave to it, and it includes comments. It also includes the date it was made. So back to our slides. This slide shows that you can export these maps, and you can then import them into documents such as your QAPP or your written emissions inventory. You can also simply take a screen capture of the map and paste it into your EI or your QAPP. But I'm going to demonstrate how to insert these maps. So I am going to open a blank Word document and insert the map I just exported. So here's my blank Word document. If I go to Insert and then Picture, and then navigate to the location where you save that file, you can import them by selecting them and clicking on Insert. And so that just puts the file into your QAPP or your written emissions inventory. If you have any questions on getting those maps into your emissions inventory or your QAPP, please let us know.